Hello from Freedomtax Accounting. We are an accounting firm where we have been providing quality tax and accounting services now for over 20 years. If you are new to this channel, we talk about the latest and best tax and accounting strategies for small businesses. And in this video, we are going to talk about the new PPP forgiveness rules that came down from the SBA this week. So this information is important for all of you who want to achieve 100% forgiveness of your PPP loan. Now, we are recording this video on August 28th. The date is important because the PPP program has been constantly changing. So there may be things that we discussed in this video that may change tomorrow. So that's the importance of subscribing to our channel, because we are doing our best to keep you informed with the most up-to-date and correct information regarding these SBA loan programs. Now, before we continue, remember that this video is intended for educational purposes and should not be taken as legal or tax advice. You should consult with your financial professional about your unique financial situation before acting on anything discussed in these videos. Freedomtax Accounting or its members cannot be held liable for any use or misuse of this content. Now, as mentioned earlier, the PPP program has been constantly changing, and this week is a perfect example of that. A couple of weeks ago, the SBA came down with new rules on how business owners can pay themselves and achieve 100% forgiveness with the PPP. And we made a video this week from that topic. So this is the video we made, and we are going to provide a link to that video in the description of this one. So check it out. But then this week, the SBA came out with new rules. And it's funny because the new rules came out on a Tuesday, which is weird because normally the SBA has been putting out the new interim final rules like on a Friday. So this week they decided to come out with the rules on a Tuesday. Now, the new interim final rule from the SBA was released on August 24th. And it's basically concentrating on two things. The first thing it is concentrating on there are new owner-employee compensation PPP forgiveness rules for owners of C and S corps. Okay, so once again, we made a video this week talking about that topic, and now there's new rules for that same topic. So that's how fast things are changing. But you should check out that other video because it goes into detail about how you as an S Corp or a C Corp owner have to pay yourself from PPP in order to achieve 100% forgiveness. Okay, the second topic that is discussed in the new interim final rule are new PPP forgiveness eligibility for certain non-payroll costs. Okay, remember that the PPP program primarily it has to be used for payroll, but there are some non-payroll costs that can be added for forgiveness. And in this interim final rule, they give new rules for other non-payroll costs, especially directed to landlords and people who have home-based businesses. Okay, so basically let's go into the first one. The first topic they discussed is new owner-employee compensation PPP forgiveness rules for C Corp and S Corp owners. Now, this is only for owner employees. This does not apply for your regular employees. Okay, this is an owner of a business, a C Corp or an S Corp that is also an employee. Okay, well, what does the current employee compensation rule say for PPP forgiveness? So this is the current rule that says if you are an owner of a C Corp or an S Corporation, meaning that your business files taxes under Form 1120 or Form 1120S, in order to achieve forgiveness from the PPP program, you have to pay yourself the same amount of wages that you paid yourself via payroll in 2019. You cannot give yourself a bonus with the PPP program, So basically, whatever you paid yourself as an owner of a C Corp or an S Corp through payroll in 2019, you have to pay yourself the same wages with the PPP program in order to achieve forgiveness. Now remember that owner draws and distributions are not eligible for PPP forgiveness. And remember that you have to pay yourself via payroll. Now the current rule also says that if your 2019 wages, meaning if whatever is reported on your 2019 W-2, if it was over $100,000, and once again, this is for the owners, if it was over $100,000, your PPP, you can only pay yourself up to $15,385 if you choose the 8-week covered period for PPP, but you have a higher cap of $20,833 if you choose the 24-week period for the PPP program. So that's the current rule that says you have to pay yourself as an owner of a C Corp or an S Corp the same wages as 2019, and if you made over $100,000, you are capped. Okay, but what's new? What did they add? Okay, this is what they added to this rule in the new rules that came out this week. Owners of C and S corporations that have less than 5% ownership are not subject to owner-employee compensation rules. So if there's a owner-employee in your C Corp or an S Corp that has less than 5% ownership, the rules that we discussed earlier do not apply. So there's no limit on how much they can pay themselves. Okay, so that's the new rule. Now, the second thing that was discussed in the new interim final rule that came out this week was new PPP forgiveness rules for certain non-payroll costs, especially directed to landlords and home-based businesses. The first thing they did is that basically the SBA is limiting the amount of forgivable subleasing rent. What does this mean? Let's give an example. Let's say that your business pays $10,000 a month in rent, right? But you sublease a part of your office to another business, and that business pays your business $2,500 a month in rent as well. So only $7,500 per month is eligible for loan forgiveness. So you cannot include the complete $10,000 as rent for forgiveness. Okay, so you have to subtract whatever you are getting paid as a sublease in your rent. That's the first thing they discussed. Another thing they did is that the SBA limited the amount of related party rent. Now, related party has nothing to do with family. Related party is that you are the owner of separate entities, that there are two businesses that have some kind of relationship and you are owner of both entities. Okay, for example, you are the owner of entity A, but you are also the owner of entity B, and in entity B you have real estate, and then entity A pays rent to entity B. Okay, we have a lot of accounting clients who do this, that they are the owners of the building, but then they have a business as well, and their business pays rent to their building. Okay, so the rule change is that now the rent eligible for PPP forgiveness from entity A will only be to the extent of the related entity's, entity B, mortgage interest. So if you are the owner of both entities and entity B has real estate, entity A is paying the other entity rent, then entity A cannot use the complete rent, the total rent amount for PPP forgiveness. It is only going to be the mortgage interest of entity B. Let's say that entity B pays $1,000 a month in mortgage interest. So entity A can only include that $1,000 as rent to be forgivable in their PPP loan program, okay? Now, the other thing they discussed was PPP forgiveness rules for home office deductions, okay? And this was a big surprise for a lot of CPAs and attorneys, because the SBA has been saying all along that home-based deductions were not allowed for PPP forgiveness. And now they're saying that they are allowed, okay? Now, they are saying that you can use a fractional amount of covered expenses for PPP forgiveness, okay? When you have a home-based business, remember that you can deduct as a business expense some of the home utilities, some of the home interest as PPP forgiveness now, okay? Now, but they are saying that you can only include those expenses that were also included in your 2019 tax return. So if those home-based business fractional expenses were not in your 2019 tax return, they will not allow you to use them for PPP forgiveness. Now, these are all changes, but we really think that you should not be worried so much on these changes, especially the home office deduction, because this primarily will be for self-employed. And remember, for the self-employed, it's 100% forgivable, because for the PPP rules, the owner compensation, it's 100% forgivable, and you're gonna get your PPP forgiven as well. Now, once again, I would not worry so much about these changes, because also if you have a proper 24-week PPP loan plan, you should be able to get 100% forgiveness only for on payroll and owner compensation expenses, okay? Now, this is in most cases. You should consult with your CPA about your 24-week PPP plan, okay? Because the 24-week covered period really gives you a lot of flexibility on payroll, and you should always use 100% of the PPP for payroll or owner compensation if you are self-employed, okay? Now, all of this could change. Why? Because there is a proposed bill in Congress that is called the Paycheck Protection Small Business Forgiveness Act. This is getting bipartisan support. It's also getting support from the private sector, and it's also getting support from the chambers of commerce. If this becomes law, basically all PPP loans under $150,000 will be automatically forgiven, okay? But it is our duty to give you the information that is coming from the SBA. Now, what is our recommendation for PPP forgiveness? This is what we are recommending our accounting clients, is to wait, okay? There's a lot of things that can change with the PPP, and remember that you have 10 months after your 24-week period to apply for forgiveness. That's almost 16 months. So there's still a lot of time left to apply for forgiveness, and at the time of the recording of this video, August 28th, we know of no bank that is accepting PPP forgiveness applications at this time. Not even Cabbage, not even Blue Vine, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase. They're not allowing people to submit their PPP forgiveness application because they're waiting on Congress. Because if Congress passes this law, then they're gonna save themselves a lot of work, okay? So thank you. We hope that you have received value from this video and this information. God bless you. We are praying for you, for your business, for your family, that God keep you safe and healthy during this pandemic. Remember to like this video if you have received value, so other business owners can get this information as well. Also remember to subscribe to our channel We are doing our best to bring you the latest information from the SBA concerning the PPP and EIDL program. Plus, we will always provide you with the best tax and accounting strategies for your small business. This is our contact information. If you have any type of tax accounting needs, we are able to help. Even though we are in Florida, we are authorized by the federal government to represent individuals and businesses in all 50 U.S. states, okay? Also, if you want a consultation regarding these loans, we have lowered our consultation rate in order to help more business owners. Remember, if you do not know us, we are part of Freedom Group. We are a group of 4 companies. We have the tax accounting firm, we have an immigration law firm, we have a real estate business, and we have an insurance and financial planning company as well. So we can help you in many, many ways. Once again, thank you. God bless you and have a great day. Bye-bye.